Creating the estate inventory often seems like an impossibly difficult task. How are you supposed to list every single piece of property the decedent owned? And even if you could, how do you value those items? What's an old t-shirt worth? What about the microwave that cost $100 but it's been used for 3 years? Luckily, as we're about to see, creating the inventory isn't nearly as hard as it sounds. Before we get into that, a quick reminder that this is all general information and nothing that I'm saying here should be taken as legal advice. One important note up front that makes things easier is that this inventory doesn't have to include all assets, only probate assets. It sometimes surprises people to find out that not every asset is a probate asset. If property was owned jointly, like when a married couple owns a house together, or there was a beneficiary named, like on a life insurance policy or a retirement account, those assets are typically not included. If you're not sure, give us a call. When you're completing the inventory, there are different types of assets and they need to be addressed separately. First are cash, stock, savings, and checking accounts. If the asset is something liquid, figuring out the value is easy enough. You just value the account as of the date of death. Second is real estate. It's often a good idea to get an appraisal here. A tax assessment or the informal opinion of your realtor friend is typically not enough. Getting a professional appraisal has a few benefits. For tax purposes, this is good evidence if you need to prove any step up in basis. And if a home is being divided among family members, this can quell some fights if everyone sees what the value of the property is up front. So consider an appraisal. Third is personal property, also known as their stuff. First, a bit of good news. As you might have guessed, you don't need to tally every single book and t-shirt the decedent owned. An inventory line of something like personal property, $2,000, is typically enough. Also good news is that what we're going for here is the yard sale value, not the purchase price or the replacement value. So if that TV cost $900 out of the box 5 years ago, but could probably get you $50 in a garage sale today, it's worth $50. As a practical tip, you don't have to kill yourself being too hyper accurate at this stage. Courts probably aren't going to get too upset over an estimate of $5,000 for personal property versus $5,011. What they're really looking for is to make sure you didn't miss any big ticket items, cars, jewelry, artwork, antiques, valuable collections, that type of thing. So make sure those are included. Here again, for any of those items, consider a professional appraisal. It's a good way to avoid missing some potential value in an estate and to settle or prevent disputes about the item's value. One last suggestion is to estimate on the low side. Now, you have to be accurate. You cannot misrepresent an item's value. But when in doubt, go with a lower estimate. It's easier to add value in the future and pay additional taxes than to try to get some of that money back if your first estimate was too high. Like paying debt, this can be a technical and difficult area of probate. If you'd like some help and guidance with your particular situation, please give us a call.